All right, welcome to this Core Animator developer demo. In this one, we're actually gonna go over essentially just a complete game that we wrote using Core Animator. So here it is, where you're this plane. You try to get these ducks with your guns, just by tapping on them or swiping through them. It counts how many ducks you get. If you let the ducks go off the screen, you'll lose a life. So 1, 2, 3. When you've lost all of them, the pilot ejects, the plane explodes for no particular reason, and then it starts over. So that's the whole game. What's cool about this game is that, I mean, obviously all of the animations that you'll see here were created with Core Animator, and all of the code. So what we did with the code is, while not necessarily good design, we purposefully put all of the actual game code into a single view controller. And that view controller is right here. I mean, it's less than 250 lines. Here it's 240 lines of actual game code. So what's neat is that our designer was able to essentially design, think through and essentially create everything he needed to create this full game, and he did it all in Core Animator. So let's take a look at the Core Animator projects. Let's see. Let's start with plane. So plane. This is kind of the basic one, or the base one. We'll go into preview mode. We'll see it's got kind of some of the ambient motions. You've got clouds going. You've got the plane going back and forth, the prop spinning. Those are obviously just kind of the ambient ones. When you tap on the screen to get a duck, we start a shooting animation and keep playing it until the finger is released. Let's see, when you've lost all of your lives, this ejector seat animation is run. And then after it completes, we immediately play the explosion, followed by re-entry. And then you're just right back where you were. So that's kind of the setup of that one. And again, this was all done just by our designer. No coding yet. Let's see, the next one, probably the next most important one, is the duck. So we've got a duck Core Animator project, and it has a duck flapping, kind of ambient animation, and then an explosion. So obviously the duck here doesn't go anywhere; it just stays put. So we actually animate the entire view across the screen. And then what we do is kind of the way we've got it set up. So the canvas size of this project, that's essentially the hit detection. That's the area in which a hit will register on the duck. So that's how we use that one. When a duck flies off the edge of the screen, we play this "Hey, you missed it" animation. That's a separate project. And finally, we have this heart project, and that's, I mean, it's supposed to be like a life counter. So when you miss a duck, this is going to play. All right, so let's take a look at that one more time and just make sure we're clear on this. So the plane project, fills the screen, and then these duck heart projects, there's 3 instances of that here. As the game goes on, we spawn, many versions of the duck view, and those actually get put into a reusable queue, so you can just dequeue ducks as you need them. And then when it goes off, we create an instance of this miss view. All right, so let's look at just a few things from the actual code. Let's start in the main storyboard. Again, this is really just what you would expect. So Inside of the view controller's view, we have the plane view. We have 3 instances of the heart view. And of course, we have our ducks label to tell us our score. Moving over to the view controller, of course, we have those that we just pointed out. We have those IB outlets, the plane, the 3 hearts, the score label. And now to kind of trace through it, here in view-did load, we call start game. Start game is cool because it's really all it does is it starts the add entry animation. So that's when the plane swoops in and kind of comes to the front. As soon as that's done, it resumes the just the plane flight animation. That's the prop spinning and the wings tilting back and forth. Resets our lives, sets our score, resets the delay between ducks, which is going to be decreasing as the game goes on. And then it calls spawn duck, which is kind of our, well, it's kind of the game cycle, right? So when we spawn a duck, first we're going to just kind of randomly figure out, where it should start, where it should end. And then here we actually dequeue a duck, which comes down to here. And that's where we create an instance of the duck view. Duck view, of course, is the generated class from that duck core animator project. In this particular case, we actually set the user interaction enabled to false because we're going to be taking care of the touches and checking for collisions at the view controller level. Of course, we probably could have done something with gesture recognizers, and anyway, we found it easier and more responsive just to handle all the handle raw touch events here in the view controller. In fact, that's this next section. You'll see we just implement touches began, touches moved, touches canceled, touches ended, and then given a set of on-screen touches, we just go through and check if a given touch is inside a duck. Of course, we can't actually just check the duck's frame because the ducks are actually being animated across the screen, and so we have to use their presentation layer to anyway check for collisions. Let's see, what do we want to point out? There's not, I mean, obviously you can download the source code, you can take a look at how it works. There's nothing really fancy. I mean, the crux of this whole thing is really just how easy it is to integrate these core animator views into your project. So for instance here, end game, right? This is when you've lost all your lives. What are we going to do? So first off, we're going to loop through any of the ducks that are still on the screen, and we're going to run their explosion animation. And then when that animation finishes in its completion block, we're going to recycle the duck. So we're going to queue it for reuse. We're going to eject the pilot from the plane, and then when that's done, we're going to remove, reset all the life counters. We're going to add the explosion, and then when that's done, we're going to restart the game. So it's this loop. Basically, the thing that I think is the most interesting is what do you call it? Just kind of the time management, right? How you can kind of script and chain these animations together, right? So to end the game, we're gonna eject the pilot. As soon as that's done, we're gonna explode the plane. As soon as that's done, we're gonna restart the game. And anyway, again, go ahead and download this code, run it. It's it's kind of an interesting little game. But hopefully this can spark some something in your mind as to how you could use Core Animator to really rapidly create some really compelling experiences. That's it. Thanks for watching.